Tune into those scare waves. It's time for the best horror games to play on PC in 2019. The long, dark nights are creeping in. Fallen leaves crunch underfoot. The sound of screams echo in the air. It's definitely time to settle down with a horror game or 10. And thankfully, 2019 has offered up a solid selection of fear-based entertainment. There's been a big focus on co-op and multiplayer experiences this year, meaning you can easily share the terror with your friends. How considerate. So, from trips to found footage horror forests, to cruises on ghost ships and showdowns with the Demogorgon, here are the 10 best horror games to play on PC in 2019. The first in Supermassive Games' Dark Pictures anthology, Man of Medan, is another narrative-driven tale in the dripping vein of Until Dawn, as a group of friends who were out for a jolly end up wandering the dripping, rat-infested corridors of a ghost ship from World War II. The big difference here from Until Dawn is that you can play online with a friend, meaning that not only do you feel decision angst about how things are going to affect you, but also whether you might accidentally shove your bestie off this mortal coil at the same time. Plus, if you don't fancy taking the fixed camera angles and interactive horror online, the movie night mode means you can get friends together in your living room and pass and play the terror. Plus, what's even more exciting is that this is only the first in the studio's collection of Dark Pictures scares, which means that even more supermassive games are lurking on the horizon. Until then, I wonder what that strange noise was. I'll be right back.
What the hell?
If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. And some creepy totems, a horrible house, and a sense that you're never going to get out alive. Welcome to Blair Witch. From the studio behind Layers of Fear, Bloober Team, this reimagining of the cinematic lore of the cursed found footage movie takes you back to Burkittsville as a retired cop on the hunt for a missing boy. Sure, you've got a trusty doggo for company, oh hello Bullet, but from the moment you step into these woods, all is definitely not well. There's the witch's, decorations for one thing. Maybe try IKEA next time? And the actual fire demons that you need to shine your torch on to keep at bay. The good news is that yes, you can play Snake when things get a bit much for you to take, but there's a constant sense of unease as you stumble through the trees, never sure where you're meant to go next. And you're constantly aware that someone, somewhere, is watching your back. That camera couldn't save Heather, Mike and Josh, and it's definitely not going to save you. In the same way that we know that the coat on the back of our bedroom door will scare us in the middle of the night if we don't take it off the hook, we know about the kind of fear lurking in a Resident Evil game. Only here, in the Resident Evil 2 remake, the coats are wrapped around infected flesh and are smashing in the windows and you have to shoot them in the head multiple times. Okay, the coat analogy stops here, but you definitely shouldn't. This return to Raccoon City might have the same name and story as the 1998 original, but that's really where the similarities stop. This is a full reworking of Leon and Claire's desperate battle against the Hordes, the Lickers, and Mr. X. The scares have been fully remixed to make sure that you never know when something nasty is going to strike. And once again, you'll never believe quite how excited you'll be to see a typewriter, even if you just want to write, "Help me," over and over again. Yes, World War Z is based on a book and movie from longer ago than we'd all like to think about, but don't hold that against this squad-based zombie murderer. And yes, it's basically third-person Left 4 Dead, although that's a good thing if you're unconcerned with trivialities like originality. Intro caveats aside, there's a lot to admire about this twitchy apocalyptic shooter. The varied urban settings are great, giving you the opportunity to explore cities that have fallen to post-apocalyptic ruin. And it feels great to play as you take on the hordes. Unlike your regular run-of-the-mill zombies, these undead have a peculiar knack of building themselves into stacks like swarms of ants. So even if you think a few stair blockades can stop them, they really can't. Plus, unlike Resi's staggerers, they also just love to hang around in packs. Big packs. So you'll need to make sure you, well, don't do this. Yes, that says 2016 and not 2019. We know, we haven't got the number the wrong way up. Dead by Daylight isn't new, but this very specific brand of asymmetrical scares is constantly horrifically evolving with new DLC and meta changes. The concept remains simple. If you're the killer, you have to hang your enemies on hooks like disturbing Christmas decorations, and if you're on the significantly pointier end of proceedings, you need to avoid being hung like aforementioned festive cheer, and power the exit door. Like getting out of a trap designed by Jigsaw though, it's really not that easy, and your brand of killer might have all kinds of fancy tricks up their bloodied sleeves. DLC wise, in 2019 alone, we've seen a Stranger Things edition, Hi Nancy and Steve, Bye Nancy and Steve, a serious rework of Freddy Krueger, and, you better live her alone, Ghostface from the Scream series. It's time to be afraid for both your life and your bank balance. It's not full-on bump-in-the-night horror, but A Plague Tale: Innocence definitely has its dark, toothy moments. If James Herbert's The Rats has always scared you, prepare to be very afraid as the scurrying rodents of plague-ridden 14th century France just wait for you to leave the safety of the light. Asobo Studios' grim fairy tale is the story of two children, Amicia and her little brother Hugo, as they attempt to survive in a world that just wants to eat them whole. Heart-in-mouth stealth is the order of the day here, and you'll find yourself increasingly attached to the pair as the game goes on, making you feel even guiltier when things inevitably go a bit wrong. The combination of heartfelt story and a genuinely beautiful, if grisly, world make A Plague Tale: Innocence an essential gothic fable. Rats all, folks? The odd bout of sleepwalking isn't anything to worry about. Waking up covered in cereal every so often is completely normal for some people. Although, coming back to consciousness covered in scratches with dirty feet and no memory of the last few days though, is a bit of a problem, and one that the teenagers of the Blackout Club are trying to solve. This brilliant stealth-based co-op horror sees you and three friends sneaking across your hometown, hunting for a missing friend and avoiding the evil grown-ups lurking in the dark. Using different skills and tools, these teens must make their way through the town of Redacre, avoiding pools of light, being spotted by menacing foes, and uncovering the mystery as they go. Just like It's Losers Club's hunt for Pennywise, you'll occasionally head underground to what's called the Maze. But whether you're on the surface or doing some subterranean stealthing, the Blackout Club is never anything less than face-pullingly tense. As a horror game, Frogware's The Sinking City isn't resi scary. Nothing's going to jump out at you, you'll rarely be worried about what terrors lurk around the next corner, but it does an excellent job of recreating Lovecraft's existential horror, and the sense of pure revulsion that comes with it. The gloomy setting of Oakmont, Massachusetts is a vivid, memorable place that truly feels drenched in despair. And the gentle puzzling, which has damaged hero Charles W. Reed uncovering a cosmic conspiracy, is enough to keep any fan of HPL engaged. It's never quite as crisp or rewarding as Frogware's excellent Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishments, and the combat can get in the literal sea, but it's a grim, weather-beaten distraction nonetheless. In many ways, it's the gaming equivalent of pulling a wet clump of tangled hair from a plug hole. Revolting and damp, but oddly satisfying at the same time. Don't look at me like that, you know what I mean. It's been a whole 7 years since we first played Telltale's The Walking Dead, and yes, we've seen approximately 300,000 staggering undead since then. No, your morning commute doesn't count. But that doesn't mean that Lee and Clem's original adventures are any less hard-hitting. The Walking Dead, the definitive series, includes all 4 episodic seasons of the shambling apocalypse em-up, and the 400 Days edition and Michonne. If you missed them first time around, there are few narrative adventures as consistently intense as this one. Seeing Kirkman's world from yet another angle, this slice of the end of the world sits on a decision-making knife edge. Just like the TV series and, real life, humans are the true monsters here, and no one will make you feel worse than when you inevitably make the wrong choice and end up entirely responsible for someone's demise. And now you can see it with remastered visuals. Great. Wait, it's a good thing. Honest.
Still not bitten.
If you think about it, setting foot in any world that's been destroyed by nukes and then set upon by mutants is a horror game. Metro Exodus might be described as a story-based FPS, but it's important to say that it gets seriously scary too. Even in the harsh light of day, there are all kinds of creatures who just want to make you lunch. And no, not in a be our guest kind of way. Monstrous alligator-style creatures swim just below the surface of the lakes that Artyom must cross, and that's before we head underground to dimly lit sewers, your breath steaming up your gas mask, which is, of course, in dire need of a clean. Monsters lurk everywhere, and anyone who doesn't jump the first time sand mutants burrow out of the ground might not actually have a heart in the first place. Throw in the scarcity of bullets and the fact that you have to head into the dark corners of the map to scavenge for craftables, and Metro Exodus can feel like nuclear resi. Leon, where are you when I need you? So that's the best PC games to give you chills in 2019. Let us know if we missed your scariest game this year in the comments below. Drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for more lists just like this one. If you do already subscribe, which makes you too cool for Skull, hit that notification bell to know exactly when our next video lands.